I'll never forget the night I walked into my own bedroom and saw my best friend under my fiancé. For a few seconds, my brain couldn't process what my eyes were seeing. The two people I trusted most were tangled in the same bed, my bed. It felt like the air had been punched out of me. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I just stood there, frozen, listening to the sound of my own heart beating in my ears. But maybe I should start from the beginning. My name is Emily, and at that time, I was 27 years old. I was engaged to a man named Michael, and we were supposed to get married in 3 months. We had been together for almost 5 years. I loved him more than anything. He wasn't perfect, but he made me believe he was the one. My best friend, Sarah, and I had known each other since college. We shared everything: clothes, food, secrets. She was the one I cried to when Michael proposed. She helped me plan the engagement party and even picked out my dress. A few months before the wedding, Sarah lost her job and her apartment. She was struggling to get back on her feet, and since she didn't have any family nearby, I told her to move in with us until she found another place. Michael didn't mind. In fact, he said it was the right thing to do. I thought I was doing something good. I thought I was being a true friend. But looking back now, that was the moment I unknowingly invited betrayal into my home. At first, everything was fine. We'd eat together, laugh, and watch movies. Sarah even helped me with some of the wedding plans. But then, small things started to change. Sarah began dressing differently around the house: short shorts, low-cut tops. I told myself not to overthink it. Then I noticed Michael laughing at her jokes a little too much. Sometimes, I'd walk into the living room and they'd go silent. When I asked what was funny, they'd just smile and say, "Nothing." There were other signs too. Michael started keeping his phone face down. Sarah suddenly began spending more time at home even when I wasn't around. Once, I came home early from work and saw them sitting too close on the couch, whispering. When they noticed me, they jumped apart like kids caught stealing candy. I wanted to believe it was all in my head. I didn't want to seem paranoid. After all, I was the one who brought her into our home. What kind of person accuses her best friend and fiancé without proof? Still, something inside me wouldn't rest. One night, I couldn't sleep. Michael told me he had to work late, and Sarah said she was going to stay at her friend's house. Around 11 p.m., I got up to get some water. That's when I noticed Sarah's handbag by the door. My chest tightened. Quietly, I walked down the hallway. I could hear whispers coming from my bedroom, my own bedroom. My legs went weak. My hands shook as I turned the knob. And there they were. Sarah and Michael. In my bed. Sarah gasped when she saw me. Michael jumped up, trying to pull the blanket around himself, his face pale. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stared. My body went numb. I remember saying, "Get out." My voice didn't even sound like mine. Michael tried to talk, but I didn't want to hear it. Sarah started crying, saying, "Emily, please, it just happened once." I didn't mean to. I walked out and slammed the door so hard the wall shook. I grabbed my car keys and drove. I didn't even know where I was going. I just kept driving until I had no tears left. That night changed everything. I lost the man I thought I'd marry and the best friend I thought I'd grow old with. But what I didn't know then was that this betrayal would save my life in a way I could never have imagined. I didn't go home that night. I slept in my car, parked outside a small grocery store. I remember staring at the roof of the car, my heart thumping so hard it hurt. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them together, Sarah's face, Michael's hands on her. It replayed like a nightmare that wouldn't stop. By morning, I drove back home just to pack my things. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely turn the key. When I stepped inside, everything felt wrong. The house was silent, but the air felt heavy, like it was holding secrets I didn't want to hear. Michael was sitting on the couch, shirtless, looking like he hadn't slept either. Sarah was there too, wearing one of my hoodies. The same hoodie I bought for her last Christmas. They both jumped up when they saw me. "Emily, please," Michael started, his voice low and nervous. "Let's just talk about this." I stared at him for a long time before answering. "Talk about what?" "About how you slept with my best friend in my bed." Sarah started crying again, wiping her face like she was the victim. "It was a mistake. I didn't mean for it to happen. I swear. Stop lying, I said quietly. You knew exactly what you were doing. Michael stood up and took a step closer. It didn't mean anything, Emily. It was just, I don't even know how it happened. You've been so busy with wedding plans and… I cut him off. Don't you dare blame me for this. He froze. That was when it truly hit me. The man I had loved for 5 years was a stranger. A coward. And the girl I called my sister was nothing but a snake. I walked to the bedroom, grabbed my suitcase, and started throwing my clothes in. Sarah followed me, begging me to forgive her. Her voice was shaking, but I didn't care anymore. Please, Em. I lost everything. You were the only one who cared about me. I made a stupid mistake. Don't leave me like this. I turned to her and said, you already lost me. She just stood there, sobbing. For the first time, I didn't feel pity. I felt cold. Empty. Michael came to the door. Emily, please don't go. We can fix this. It was one night. I love you. I laughed, but it came out broken. If this is what your love looks like, then I don't want it. I walked past both of them, out of that house, and never looked back. The next few weeks were the hardest of my life. I moved in with a coworker, Lisa, who let me stay in her spare room until I figured things out. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. My engagement ring sat on the bedside table like a ghost of my old life. People at work started to notice I wasn't myself. Some asked, and I just said, we broke up. I didn't tell anyone the full story. It was too humiliating. One night, Sarah called me from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but my anger pushed me to. Emily, she said softly. Her voice cracked. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I can't stop thinking about what I did. I ruined everything. I didn't reply. I lost Michael too, she continued. He doesn't talk to me anymore. I think he's seeing someone else. That stung more than I wanted to admit. He cheated on me with her, and now he'd left her too. It was like betrayal was his habit. I finally said, you two deserve each other, and hung up. That was the last time I spoke to her. After that, I tried to rebuild myself. I went back to work full-time, deleted all my old photos, and started therapy. Some nights, I cried myself to sleep. Other nights, I felt nothing at all. But months later, I realized something strange. I hadn't just lost 2 people. I had escaped something worse. One Saturday afternoon, I got a message from a mutual friend named Clara. She and I had gone to college with Sarah. She texted me, saying, Emily, I thought you should know what's going on with Michael and Sarah. I hesitated before calling her back, but my curiosity got the better of me. When Clara answered, her voice was quiet. It's bad, Em. Really bad. She told me Michael had been admitted to the hospital 2 months ago. He had been sick for a while, losing weight, fever, rashes. At first, he thought it was just stress. But after several tests, the doctors told him the truth. He was HIV positive. And it didn't stop there. Sarah was positive too. Apparently, Michael had been cheating on both of us long before I ever found out. There was another woman before me, someone he met at a club while on a work trip. She had no idea she was infected. By the time Michael found out, he had already passed it to Sarah. Sarah had been in and out of the hospital, too weak to work, living off help from people who used to pity her. Clara said Michael didn't even visit her anymore. He was too sick himself. For a moment, I didn't know how to feel. Part of me wanted to cry. Another part of me wanted to scream. But mostly, I just sat there in silence, holding the phone and staring at the floor. Karma had done its job, and it didn't ask for my help. That night, I went for a long walk. It was raining lightly, but I didn't care. I thought about Sarah, the friend I once trusted with my secrets. I thought about Michael, the man I once planned to spend my life with. And then I thought about how their choices caught up with them in ways they could never escape. They had betrayed me, but in the end, they betrayed themselves more. A week later, Clara called again. Her voice trembled when she spoke. Michael's gone, she said. I didn't ask how. I didn't need to. I just whispered, okay, and hung up. I sat on my bed for a long time after that, staring at nothing. I didn't feel happy or sad. Just empty. Then, a few months later, I saw on Facebook that Sarah had passed away too. Someone posted a photo of her smiling, but she looked so thin, almost unrecognizable. The comments were full of rest in peace messages. I didn't comment. I just closed the app and sat quietly, thinking about how different things could have been if I hadn't opened that bedroom door that night. It's strange, isn't it? How betrayal can sometimes save you. I should have been destroyed by what they did to me. But instead, it pulled me out of something far worse. I never celebrated what happened to them, but I also couldn't ignore what it taught me. People who hurt others always think they're getting away with it, until life decides to remind them that everything comes back around. And when karma comes, it doesn't knock. It breaks the door down. It's been almost 2 years since everything happened. 2 years since I caught my best friend and my fiancé in my bed. 2 years since karma showed up and did what I never could. Sometimes it still feels like a bad dream. But then I look at how far I've come, and I realize it was all real, every painful second of it. After Michael and Sarah died, I went quiet for a long time. I didn't tell anyone the full story. My parents knew I broke off the engagement, but I never explained why. What was I supposed to say? My best friend slept with my fiancé, and now they're both gone? Some things are too heavy to talk about. So, I just learned to live with it quietly. For a while, I felt guilty, not because I did anything wrong, but because I survived. I kept asking myself, why me? Why did I walk in that night? Why was I spared? It took me months to accept that sometimes life removes people from your path to protect you, even if it hurts like hell. I focused on rebuilding myself. I got a new apartment in another city, started therapy again, and went back to school for a short course in counseling. Helping others slowly became my way of helping myself. Some nights, though, I still wake up thinking about Sarah. Her laugh. The way we used to talk for hours about our dreams, about love. It's hard to believe that same person could look me in the eye while sneaking behind my back. And Michael, sometimes I imagine what kind of person he could have been if he hadn't chosen lies. He had everything: love, a home, a future. But he traded it for a few moments of lust. Now, they're both just names in my memory. Last week, I found an old photo of the three of us at my engagement dinner. We were smiling, holding champagne glasses. I stared at it for a long time before throwing it away. Not because I was angry, but because it didn't hurt anymore. That's how I knew I had finally healed. I don't think karma is about revenge. It's more like balance. The universe has a way of returning what people send out, whether good or bad. And for Michael and Sarah, it came back harder than anyone could have imagined. People ask me now if I've started dating again. I tell them no, not yet. I'm not scared of love, just careful. I know what it feels like to lose everything in one night, and I never want to be that blind again. Sometimes, I sit by my window at night and think about how life could have gone differently. I could have been married to a man who would have eventually killed me without even knowing it. I could have been sick, broken, and bitter. Instead, I'm here. Alive. Healthy. Free. And that's enough. I don't wish them pain anymore. I don't wish them peace either. I've simply let them go along with the part of me that used to beg for answers. Because the truth is, I already got my answer the day I saw what betrayal can do. It destroys itself. I'll never forget what happened, but I'm not afraid of it anymore. If anything, it taught me the most haunting truth of all. Sometimes the people who hurt you the worst end up saving your life without meaning to. And as for karma, it doesn't always come fast. But when it finally does, it never misses. What would you have done if this happened to you or anyone you know? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real-life stories, confessions, and emotional journeys.